I traveled 69,000 miles just to get deals on retro video games and to see your mother. And also, I had to lay low because the cops were out looking for me. RCMP, FBI. So basically, I spent 10 days living in a cave because I had to lay low for a while. I'm currently in a cave, hiding from the police. Here's the cave I'm hiding in. It's not too bad. Beautiful view, at least. I'm thinking in this corner over here, can stack up some retro games. Nice little hiding spot. Running out of shelf space anyway. But I made sure to leave that cave every single day, and I hit up all the local retro game stores, and I got footage of everything. I'll show you all the game pickups I got, all the deals I got, and I even took some friends and family, and we hit up some of the local arcades. I had a blast, guys. Living out of a cave ain't so bad. I just had to lay low for a while, get the cops off my tail. I'm tired of being wanted in 3 states. I'm wanted in 3 states and 2 provinces. I ain't going back to prison. They don't have retro games in prison. Prison's not worth it, guys. Stay out of prison. So I had a buddy of mine take me to an amazing store. Shout out to Level Up Gaming and Vapes. It's a friggin' gaming store, a vape store, and a tattoo store all in one. Now, I'm not into the tattoos or the vaping. I was there for the retro video games, but I think it's really cool and interesting that they've combined 3 different niches into one store. And the owners are really cool. A friend of mine took me there.
Start to play. Let's go. me, Mario.
This store's in Cambridge, Ontario. Now, that's not where my cave was. I can't tell you where I was hiding out, but I did make a trip over to Cambridge. They treated me real well. They gave me some deals. Awesome store. I'll show you the pickups I got. Let's start off with the best of the best. Steal of a deal. I'm going to jail, guys. I'm going to jail. They're going to lock me up any minute now. F355 challenge.
There is a Fast and there is Ferrari. There is reality and there's F355 Racing. The ultimate racing simulator for the ultimate car, played on the ultimate console.
Now, I paid $19.99 for this. Great price. Level Up Gaming and Vapes. CIB, guys. Sega frickin' Dreamcast. One of the best consoles ever made. One of the most underrated consoles ever made. And any game on the Dreamcast is automatically a good game just because it's Sega Dreamcast. So as you may know already, I am heavily collecting for the Sega Dreamcast. There's something magical about the Dreamcast. This game, for instance, I thought that this was a Dreamcast exclusive, but I recently found out it's also on the PS2. And the second you tell me it's on the PS2, I have no interest in the game. In fact, I would have otherwise told you that game sucks. But the second you put it on a Dreamcast and you pop her in the Sega Dreamcast console and you pick up the Dreamcast controller, all of a sudden I'm interested. I want to play it and I want to own it and I want it in my collection and I want it on that shelf right behind me. I got all the Sega Dreamcast games are right over there. So I paid $20, but it price charts for $43.05. Frequently sells for, $50 or more after your shipping and your taxes. So for $20, CIB, that ain't bad. Now it's got some sticker residue on it, but I can get that removed. I can remove that. That's removable. Sticker residue like that, don't let that stop you from picking up a game, because you can get that stuff removed. Certain cleaning products like Goo Gone, for example, that's a great product for removing sticker residue. So this game is based on an arcade game. And you have to understand that the arcade game was something special that you cannot replicate no matter what. The arcade game had 3 screens. So the 2 side screens were actually like windows. Like you would have to look over. It was the view of the window. Okay, and the arcade game was meant to be extremely realistic. So, and also you have to understand that in the arcade, you'd be sitting there in the arcade cabinet with the 3 screens, top of the line graphics at the time with the steering wheel, so you feel like you're really in the car, you're shifting gears, you're getting the full experience. You can never replicate that entirely on a home console, but you can get as close as you can get. And the Sega Dreamcast did that, exactly that, because the graphics are still there. The graphics are just as good as the arcade. There's no lag, no frame rate issues, even when playing 2-player. There's no problems with this game. I don't know about the PS2 version. Probably runs just as good, but the Sega Dreamcast version does not have any slowdown. It's a top-of-the-line game. Now, the problem with this game, the only negative effect, depending on your preference, is that the game is difficult. It's always been difficult because it's a simulation racer. It's not an arcade racer. Okay, this is not San Francisco Rush.
This is not Mario Kart 64. Okay, this is a Ferrari game. It was famous because it was actually designed to make you feel like you're driving a Ferrari, an F355 Ferrari. So they made it as realistic as possible. Like, that's legit. That's what this is meant to be. That's what it was designed to be. So it's not a Gran Turismo. You're not racing and buying car parts and upgrading your cars. You're not doing that. It's just a straight up racing simulator designed to make you feel like you're driving the real car. You are technically supposed to drive it in first person view. That is the authentic way to play it. So just be aware of that. That's the way the game was designed. So if you do switch the view, don't do that. Don't go to third person. You're supposed to be driving first person view. That's the way the game was designed. So the game is known for being very difficult. There is a learning curve. You have to spend about 1 week with the game to start getting the feel for how you're supposed to drive, getting used to it. The game will not get easier until you've got about a solid week of gameplay. Okay? So that's a turnoff for some people, including myself. But I don't care. It's a Sega Dreamcast game. Price has slowly been going up. I think it'll continue to go up. I'd rather own it now than have to buy it later. And I'm excited to have it in my collection. Very good pickup. And guys, I got a steal of a deal. The owner gave me a steal of a deal price on it. Because you know what? He had 2 copies of that same game. The other one was like $40. I think it was $37.99. And I asked him, I said, why is there 2 prices? So obviously he's had both of those games there a long time. Because the original price was $20, but the price has gone up. The price has doubled since then. So the second copy that he got in, he priced it much higher. But he honored the sticker price. That's why this store is a great store. So if you're in the Cambridge, Ontario area, check out that store. Tell them I sent you. The other game that I picked up from them was Monster Trucks Game Boy Advance. Had a price sticker of $4.99. I got this because it's Monster Trucks and it was cheap. And he gave me 50% off, by the way. So I actually only paid $2.50. Price charts for like $6.50. And you know what? I know the game sucks. I know it does. But I'm a sucker for monster truck games. I'm a sucker. I couldn't help it. The white trash in me said, get that monster truck game. Just pick it up. So I did. That's what I did. And he gave me a deal on it, so I was happy with that. And guys, this is the most generic game ever made. They couldn't even come up with a title. They just called it Monster Trucks. That's it. The most generic monster truck game ever made. Game Boy Advance. I bet you this was a budget title back in the day, and I bet you it was like sold at a discount price. Nothing special about that one, let me tell you. Now, I also found another really interesting game while I was in there. I've never seen this before in my entire life. Marvel Trading Card Game by Konami. CIB. Now, I'm not usually into handheld games. Oh yeah, there's another game in here too, by the way. Let me take that one out. I put that in there. That's another Game Boy Advance game. I put that in there. Picked that one up from him too. So this is CIB, Marvel Trading Card Game. Never played it before in my life. Didn't even know it existed. I saw it in the shelf as I was browsing the store. I saw it. I said, what the hell is that? I love Marvel. I love X-Men. And I used to play a card game, a Marvel card game, way back in the day. Probably the original Marvel card game ever made. It was called Overpowered. I played that, and it didn't last very long. I guess it was a fad. They made a couple of expansions, and it died out fast. Very popular when it first came out, because we would play this on the playground. There's other kids that had it too. And we didn't even know how to play. I don't think I was playing the game properly. One of the other kids taught me how to play, but I don't think he was playing properly. I think he invented his own rules. It was kind of like Pokemon cards. Back in the day, kids kind of invented their own rules. Same with Yu-Gi-Oh! The young kids, that sometimes they don't actually understand how to play, and you just kind of invent rules, and then that becomes how you play. Until you get older and someone who actually knows how to play teaches you the real rules. That kind of happens sometimes. So yeah, this game, it got mixed reviews. A lot of complaints that the screen is too small for this particular card game because you're playing on a handheld device. I don't know how to play, and apparently it is difficult to learn. There is a tutorial, but apparently it's a difficult card game, so you really got to put some time and effort in to understand how to play. There is a campaign, single player campaign. You can be superheroes or villains, but that's not necessarily why I got it. What really sold me is that it's 2-player. So you can play wireless matches against a buddy. So I thought, man, wouldn't that be fun? There were so many great Nintendo Game Boy Advance and DS and 3DS 2-player games. And I would love to play those games one day. All those handheld games, I'm collecting handheld games, and I'm not too big into the handheld games, but I keep getting more and I keep diving in more. And I find all these little gems. These are gems. Where you get these really interesting 2-player wireless games. You know, you got to have 2 consoles, and in most cases, 2 copies of the game. I don't have a problem with that. I want to try this one day. Will it be anytime soon? No, it won't. But it's on my bucket list. I'm going to learn how to play this card game because I think it'll be fun as hell, and it'll be super fun to play with a buddy. And I know that there's pre-made decks in here. It's just for fun. It's not super competitive. It's just for fun. Oh yeah, by the way, he gave me 50% off. I'll put up the receipt. I'll show you at the end. I'll prove to you that he gave me a steal of a deal. Look at this. $12.99, but I didn't pay $12.99. 50% off. I paid $6.50. Guys, the guy gave me an absolute frickin' steal. This price chart's for... I wrote this down. 1968. I paid $6.50. I'm getting steal of a deals everywhere I go. I traveled 69,000 miles for these deals. You dang right I better be getting deals. The last game I got was this Battle Beataman Fire Spirits. I have no idea what this is. I got it because it was only $8.99. Price charts for much higher. Price charts for $16.12 commonly sells for close to $20. And it's an Atlas title. And if you look at the chart, the price is going up. So truth be told, mainly the second I saw the Atlas title, the fact that this is published by Atlas, I knew I was going to buy it. And apparently this is based on some sort of Japanese anime. It sounds kind of familiar. I really don't know much about the game, but hey, I got a deal on it. Hopefully it's 2-player, because I'm always looking for those hidden gem 2-player games. I've kind of heard that this might be a hidden gem. Don't quote me on that. I'm super excited to have it in my collection regardless. And I don't know enough about it to really tell you much else. But it looks cool as hell. I mean, you gotta admit it looks cool and it sounds awesome. And you know what? I like to buy games blind. In my old age, with the disposable income that I have, that's one of my favorite things to do. To buy games that I've never seen before, that I know nothing about, and I just buy them. It's kind of like of renting games. You can't rent games anymore. Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore. Back in the day, you would rent games. There was no internet back then. There was no YouTube. You couldn't just YouTube games. You didn't have reviewers and at your fingertip for any game ever made at any time. The second the game comes out, you didn't have that back then. So you would rent games blind, and I miss that. And so I love to recreate that feeling by buying games like this. Back then, if you knew that a certain publisher like Konami or Capcom, if you knew that you had played a couple of their games in the past and be like, oh, I remember those are the guys that made Mega Man. Oh, look at this other game they have. What's this, King of Dragons for the Super Nintendo? I don't know if that's any good, but it's got Capcom's name on it. Let me rent it. Let me give it a go. Or let me purchase it at my Toys R Us. Let me purchase it blind. I have no idea what it is, but I know that I like those Capcom guys. They seem to have made good games. I kind of recreate that feeling. I look at the Atlas and I say, you know what? Atlas published a lot of great games. Almost every game they published turned out to be some sort of unique game or hidden gem. Sometimes the odd game wasn't all that great, but they have a good reputation, and they also have a good reputation for low print runs, at least back in the day. This probably suits that bill, to be honest with you. So very excited. Let's check out what else I got. So I also checked out a store called The Beat Goes On, and I had some fairly good success. Let's check that out.
Cops are still looking for me. I'm hiding out. And while I'm hiding out, I'm still hunting for retro video games. I'm looking all over this dang city. Can't tell you where. Can't tell you that. But I can tell you there's retro games in multiple cities around my location, and I've gone to quite a few so far. So what do we got? We have The Beat Goes On. I think there used to be a different store here. Hey, what the hell? It says it's open 24/7. Oh, shop online 24/7. Oh, that doesn't help me. We need a 24/7 retro video game store is what we need. Now, The Beat Goes On used to be a music and movie store, and they expanded into games. So I'm not expecting that they would have much, but I am expecting that maybe if they do have something, it might be a fair price. That's kind of what I'm hoping. So let's go check it out. Guys, what you saw in there was basically the entire selection of games. I did do a couple pickups. I got Brothers in Arms, and originally at $3.99, which is not a bad price. It's actually pretty good. I got this because the case is actually mint condition. I was looking for the cheapest game with the best deal with the best case. So case being number one. And this, they really didn't go under $3.99. Their cheapest games are $3.99 and up, Canadian dollars. So this is a mint condition case. I'm going to end up swapping this case with one of my more expensive games because this is legit pure mint. And I'll probably just sell the game, what's left, on eBay and try to get as much of my money back as possible. I might even be able to get 100% of my money back. I don't know yet. I don't know what exactly I can get for this. But if it's not 100%, it's pretty close, and I will gladly pay $5 even just for a good condition case. A good condition, guys, a mint condition case is really worth a minimum of $5. And I would happily pay more if it's legit mint. And also if I'm like desperate for a case at the time. So I only got one because I'm not 100% certain how many I need. I'll probably regret not getting more in the future when I get home and actually check out what exactly it is that I need and how many. Because I know I need a lot. So yeah, I'm already starting to regret it. But I also got, for a really good deal, The Godfather 2 Limited Edition. I asked them if they had both CDs. So I'm going to check it right now because they didn't actually show themselves put it in. Yeah, they have both. Regular disc, and there's a bonus disc. Mint condition, but why I got this is because, number one, it's a good friggin' deal. $30. Good luck getting that, because number two, it's got the slipcover. CIB copies with the slipcover have cost over $60 on eBay. 60 smackers. So a whole bunch of inserts in here and stuff. I'm assuming it's CIB. I gotta check eBay. Manuals, multiple manuals, plus it's some sort of a insert at the back. Slipcover. That's rare. You gotta know what you're looking for when you go to these retro game stores. Somebody else might look at this and say, well, $30 isn't that good of a deal. I mean, it's a good deal, but it's not that good of a deal. You know, some people are looking for that good of a deal, and if they don't get that good of a deal, they don't buy. Okay, I'll buy for a deal. I just want a deal. Just give me a deal. Come on, give me a deal that's cheaper than eBay. I'll probably buy. But then those same idiots don't recognize that this has a slipcover. Look it up. Look up what's sold in the past with a slipcover. So I'm going to get out of here because I'm going to head to the casino tonight, try and win my money back for these games, and I'm going to be playing Konami slot machines. Because Konami quit making good video games because their slot machine business started taking off, and they make hundreds of millions of dollars on their slot machine business. So let's go find out why they're making that much money, even though I already know the answer. It's probably because all their slot machines are rigged for the casinos to make money. So the casino's making money and Konami's making money. But I'm going to be playing their rigged slot machines just because it's got the Konami logo on it. Yeah. So now I'm bankrupt.
So as discussed, yes, I did get the Godfather Limited Edition. The sticker will come off. This is mint condition. The slipcover's mint. I haven't even seen a mint condition one on eBay yet. The price wasn't as good as I thought because, you know, it's not that much more on eBay. You're looking at about $40 plus tax, maybe $45. Mine does have the map, so I looked into what is a complete edition. I do have the manual, I have the map, but I also have an insert. So there's the map and an insert behind it. And that insert seems to be rather rare. Here's the map. Here's the insert. because I seen a lot of listings that didn't have the insert. There's 2 CDs in here, as you can see. Mint condition. You never find a more mint condition than the copy that I got. So I didn't get this for any other reason than it seems very interesting. It's rare. I didn't know that it existed because the best version of The Godfather is on the PS3, which I own like 2 or 3 copies of. I think I have 3 or 4 now, actually. But you know what? I didn't know it existed. I bought it blind while I was in the store. I thought it was an alright deal. Thought it was a good deal at the time. And so I picked it up. And I looked at the chart, and the chart looks good. It's been going up in price. I have no problem adding this to my collection. I'm excited to add it. I think it's a great addition. It's limited edition. I never even knew it existed. It's got a slipcover. All right? If you're a hardcore collector like me, you're going to understand that adding something like that is pretty friggin' awesome. All right? Also got the Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway. I don't care for the game, although I have heard from people who have played it that it does have a great story. But I got this mainly because this is a mint condition case. I'm going to case swap it and I'm going to sell it. That's what I'm going to do. I have a King Kong game that I've already decided I'm going to use this case. Because a King Kong game, which is actually a rare hidden gem Xbox 360 game, price is going up on that one. Check that out. King Kong the movie. You don't find that on PS3. That's a 360 exclusive for that generation of consoles. And the 360 is the best version. So I'm taking this case for my King Kong game, which has a really poor case. And that game price charts for like $9.60 something, but commonly sells for $12, $13 to $15. So I am going to sell it on eBay. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Trying to get to over 9,000 subscribers. On my way to collecting over 9,000 retro video games. And in case you haven't noticed, I am legally insane. But you know what? I love retro games, and I love the Nintendo Switch. I have a huge Nintendo Switch collection. It's getting bigger every week. Love the Nintendo Switch, guys. And you know what? If you don't have a Sega Dreamcast, consider picking one up.